Okay. Charles Darwin, the man behind the theory of evolution. Who was he, and how exactly did he create that revolutionary theory? Join us as we explore Darwin's life and his journey to discovering the incredible facts of life's beginnings. Charles Darwin was born on February 12, 1809. In 1832, he attended a ship called the HMS Beagle, and his studies, especially on the Galapagos Islands, assisted his process in formulating his theory about evolution and natural selection, which he later published in his research in the famous book, The Origin of Species. This research on natural selection and evolution would change how we view the natural world forever. The first point of Darwin's theory of evolution is genetic variation. Without genetic variation, evolutionary change cannot and would not operate. There are three primary sources of genetic variation, the first of which is mutations. Mutations are changes in the DNA. A single mutation can have a large effect, but in many cases, evolutionary change is based on the accumulation of many mutations over multitudes of generations. The second reason is gene flow. Gene flow is any movement of genes from one population to another due to competition or other reasons. This creates genetic diversity and, in turn, genetic variation. And finally, sex. Sex between genetically different parents can introduce new gene combinations into a population. This genetic shuffling over many years is an important source of genetic variation. Yay for sex. Moving on. The third point of Darwin's theory is the struggle for existence. This is the competition or battle for resources needed to live. It can refer to human society or to organisms in nature. An example of this is this pack of wolves fighting to the death over their resource of territory. Please enjoy. The fourth point of Darwin's theory is descent with modification. This basically shows how, as organisms reproduce, slight change creates variation, which can lead to new species over time. A good example of this is how humans have descended from a common ancestor of apes. This picture here is a good depiction of how we've descended over time with modifications from this ancestor to how we are now. The fifth and final point of Darwin's theory is common descent. Common descent is the scientific theory that all living organisms on Earth descended from a single common ancestor. The picture shown here is a small fragment of the tree of life. To sum it up, you can see here, throughout millions of years of the struggle for existence, certain organisms live and die through natural selection, which then causes descent with modification to occur and a new organism to branch off from their common ancestor. This all in turn creates genetic variation. Throughout all the things we've discussed, one thing has remained clear. Due to his amazing research and its conclusions, Charles Robert Darwin changed the way humanity views not only biology, but science as a whole. He's truly one of the greatest minds in science.